time now.
Every day a new day, move things, do things like my life a movie, hey. Every day new day, move things, do things like my life a movie, hey. Every day a new day, move things, do things like my life a movie, hey. Every day new day, move things, do things like my life a movie, hey.
All right, welcome everybody to the Smoking Tingz podcast, All Smoke No Chaser, live and direct. Here from Smoking Tingz, the Smoke Shop. Make sure to come check us out. We got all your cannabis, CBD, edible, mushroom leaf, shameless plugs. Yeah, 1705 North Capitol Street, Northeast. Come check us out at Smoking Tingz on IG, Smoke and Tingz on the World Wide Web. You can order some of these good things from us. But we are here. This is our third episode of 2023. Moving right along. We're going to do our intros as usual. Yours truly, Ebou Taal. I'm Black, I'm African, I'm a Virgo, still, as always. To my left, we have our beautiful Dr. Jane back.
Yes. I saw the men's only.
Yes. We had a little bit of fun in here that day.
It was cute.
We missed you, though.
It could have been cuter with me, but it was cute.
It would have been.
Chase wanted her here.
Chase held it down though, Chelsea. But
No,
big
he
shout out to
did.
Big Chase. Big shout out. We're definitely gonna have Chase. We're gonna have Chase back with you, and it would have been fun. Yeah.
Question, he did good. He did real good.
And then before we get to our special guest today, we're gonna go over to our big homie over there.
Big Rob, 5826. Keep it knocking, but I ain't gonna let you in.
Bang bang.
And then last but not least, man, your boy Eddie B, man, Showtime with a Y.13. Holla at me.
Sir, make sure to follow us all on Instagram. And this week we have our good friend, our colleague, our boy. You might know him as Just Carrington, but he's Just Carrington to us.
Simply.
Introduce yourself, where you from, you know, all that.
My name is
Your IG.
Carrington. Y'all know me as Just Carrington or whatnot. From California, but was born in DC. Been in DC nightlife scene, tech scene for about 10, 12 years now. And I get an opportunity to hang out with my boys tonight and new homegirl.
Yes. I was about to say.
We're glad we ran into you a couple of weeks ago when we did, and, you know, we got to chop it up a little bit at that event. So here we are. You know, we're going to get into, you know, everything about Carrington right now, as well as the, you know, everything that's going on around the world.
What? Y'all had a good time?
Oh, yeah, the party.
Had a great time.
Yeah, had a great time.
What party was this?
It was,
I can't speak names.
Yeah, we can't.
It was my first NDA party.
We had an NDA.
Non-disclosure.
Nice NDA.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
We can't read it.
No, like,
made it.
It was no
That's
sorry.
corny.
Sorry.
It's not our fault.
Nah, it's not a fault.
Yeah, because I feel like the lawyers will come for us for real. Because that was an extensive NDA.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay.
But remember,
It wasn't a one-sheeter, huh?
It was not a one-sheeter. It was one paragraph. We had to initial sign.
You know, I ain't do that.
Multiple pages. I was like, shit.
But it was a good time.
Yeah, but it was a good time. It was good vibes, all
I
good
heard
people.
about it. I ain't have a chance to engage. I think I wasn't even here.
Nah. That joke was real proud.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Huh?
That joke was real proud.
it's where it needed to be.
It's where it needed to be.
It's where it needed to be.
See?
As I keep rolling my eyes. Moving along.
And we're shooting live tonight while LeBron's trying to get his record to break the NBA record, Kareem's record. He's in LA, so if you see us looking over to the right or to your left, that's because we got the game on. So we're all watching to see the moment. But big shout out to LeBron. Hopefully he gets it tonight at home with all those people in attendance.
No question, man. He deserved it, man. He worked hard.
Yeah.
He didn't gave us all entertainment. It's kind of funny because you always got to think whenever we see these superstars, and then we see a superstar among superstars, then one day he's not going to be playing.
Right.
And so you better get what you can
Sooner than later.
Right. And you get a lot of people, I hear people say negative things about a lot of these guys. And some of these guys, like LeBron, I know personally, you know what I'm saying? Like we know this guy, and we know they struggle, you know what I'm saying? And it sounds funny because everybody always think, oh, you live a perfect existence or a perfect life. But when you on a competitive level like that, playing against the best players in the world, and you still excel and go beyond what Kareem did, a lot of people don't realize what Kareem and who he was and what he did. You know, this guy, he controlled basketball since he was a child. He won on the young level. He won on the high school level, college level, and pro level. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Ain't but a couple of people in history. And shameless plug, Quinn Cook is one of the only people ever, other than Kareem, that won high school, college, and pro. Thought I'd say that, but I'm just telling you what you see.
Tune into that episode on YouTube.
That's right. Tonight is
a business.
Shameless plug.
We're running a business.
We're running a business.
That's right. I'm just saying it's gonna be beautiful tonight.
For sure. If it don't happen tonight, it's gonna happen tomorrow, and he's gonna smash the record because he's gonna play for another 4 or 5 years at least.
There you
so like that's already a foregone conclusion.
40-something thousand.
Yeah.
Look at Kareem there. This is a hell of a game too.
So, we're gonna dive right into it with our guest today. Like I said, we're with our man Carrington. So we're just gonna start from the beginning. Just tell us about yourself. You said you're from Cali, moved to DC. Born in DC?
Born in DC.
Born in DC. Okay, parents from Cali.
Parents from DC, went to Dunbar.
Okay. So how'd you end up in Cali?
Military.
Okay, you're a military brat, like this guy.
I was in the service.
He was in the service.
Okay. I got you though.
So just tell us, Dunbar, leading up to everything, nightlife, where you were at. Just take us through those steps, where you went to school, all that.
I'll keep it simple. I was born in GW Hospital. I wasn't born anywhere else. I was actually born in DC.
All right.
My grandmother was a nurse. I just thought I'd put that out there for everybody from the DC and or DMV area. But when I was about 9 months to a year old, my dad got stationed in California, Camp Pendleton. So people ask me where I'm from. I say San Diego. But if you're from California, I'm from Oceanside, California, which is the next civilian city over from Camp Pendleton. Was out there my entire life. My mom was like, I'm from DC. It's 76 degrees year round. You can move, talking to my dad, but we're going to stay here. So essentially, my dad moved around, deployed wherever it was. We stayed in California. Me and my brother, as well as my sister, were athletes out there, student scholars. So, we're in some record books, football, basketball, track for myself, brother, football, and track. Sister was basketball and tennis. And so what initially brought me to the East Coast is I was turning 18. I was in college and I injured myself. I actually tore my pinky. This tendons in my pinky. I was a wide receiver. And, while I was recovering, it was like 2 weeks before the season was supposed to start. So I clearly couldn't play. My sister was like, hey, why don't you come help me out? I'm a single mom in Connecticut. So I went out there. But my sister worked at ESPN. So it was kind of like, one day we're just having a casual conversation. And she's like, why don't you work at ESPN? You pretty much know everything there is to know about sports. And I was like, well, I thought you had to have a degree. I thought you had to have this, that, and a third. Right. She's like, well, yeah, but there's also temporary positions, just like any other job. Mm-hmm. So I went on 3 rounds of interviews. Those were probably the hardest interviews I've ever had to do in my life, just making sure that I knew all the materials I needed to know, got hired there. That lasted for about 2 years, which was dope. Got the chance to work with Stuart Scott before he passed away. Scott Van Peltz, Magic Johnson. Everyone that you see on ESPN, been on ESPN commercials. With the UConn Huskies head coach.
Is it as fun as it looks like? Especially back then. What year was that?
That was like 2008.
Okay, because I remember they were doing all those like cool commercials when with LeBron in the office.
Correct.
Is it as fun in that environment as it looked like? It was.
It is when we're shooting something like that. But when you're working on SportsCenter or you're having to watch this clip, write down all the things that are happening, create a shot sheet, go to the edit room, edit it while live on air, run from the we call it DC or the digital center. And run it to, let's say, a Stuart Scott, give him all the information so he can read it on air, and you might not get there on time, or there's an edit missing.
Right.
The prompter's not done right. Like it's basically the fastest paced environment I've ever been a part of,
high pressure,
bar none. Because it's all live. It's live. There is no messing up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's literally, you're
so what was your job there? Like what did you actually do?
Production assistant.
Okay.
So I was a PA. If anyone knows what a PA is, they assign you a game, You watch it, you log everything that happens. You basically create a highlight. You go to a highlight supervisor, tell them this is the story you want to tell. They'll edit it, or they'll put little tidbits in there, however you want it. So any highlight you see on SportsCenter, or top 10, or anything like that, they take it to the edit room, make sure it's in the rundown. When it's in the rundown, you run the shot sheet. Shot sheet is basically everything that's listed that has happened on the sheet, so they can read it live, so they can put it in a prompter. Gotcha. If it's not in a prompter, they would just read it live. And so whenever they'll say, "Hey, LeBron scored 38,000 points," they're actually reading from something or their personal memory.
So that's your work. They just read it.
They pay attention to it, but they have to, they have to relay it to the guests. But imagine doing that live on air and not messing up.
Yeah. Nah, they have our job for sure. Anything live is crazy. So ESPN then
took a lateral move to DC. Under the ESPN umbrella, Disney owns ESPN, and so I don't know if y'all remember ESPN Zone that was downtown.
Yeah.
ESPN Zone was under the Disney umbrella, so I kind of took a job there as a production coordinator, just managing all the stuff that happens when it comes to sports. And
they had one here and one in Baltimore, right?
Correct. Yeah, they in Harbor in Baltimore and the one here, but that was just my way of getting back to DC. I had been in California my entire life, and I've only come back during the summertime to kind of I was like, where'd I come from? I don't, I never quite felt like I fit in California, being the token black guy, this, that, up there. Never understood what culture was.
Gotcha.
Came here for my cousin's prom or something like that, and had realized that I was, I went to their house in Cheltenham and was like, all these cars are dope. They're Mercedes, they're Maseratis, they're BMWs. He's like, yeah, and they're black. I said, huh? I said, so you telling me that everybody who owns these big ass houses is black and they got the sports cars outside? I said, I got to come figure it out, how to get a piece of the pie. And so that was part of the reason for me coming to DC. Other part was to see my family, haven't seen for so long. So from there, I just taught myself IT. I Googled how to make 6 figures in a short period of time. Yeah. Started working at the Apple store, and then simultaneously started working in IT. Someone was like, "Hey, man, you're really good at what you do. You come in the Apple store. I feel like I'm fresh with my little blue shirt on, with my sneakers, I'm rocking every day. But it was the ability to talk to people. Yeah. So he was like, "Man, you're really dope. You can talk to people, blah, blah, blah. You should get a job working at this club." It just happened to be the #1 club in the district at the time, on 14th and K Street.
The park.
There it is. And that's kind of how I got introduced into the nightlife.
Right. And what year was that?
Yeah, what year?
December 1, 2010 was the first time I went to a party, and it happened to be Big Tigger and Jamie Foxx.
Okay. And Park opened in 2010, right?
Park
20. They just had their 15 year anniversary.
There could have been.
They just had their 15 year.
No, they opened 08, right?
So, okay. Yeah. So they were still fresh on the block anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, but that was December 1, 2010, and then it became 2011.
Yeah.
The month after, so.
And then you started working at other places, like you said, Current at the time.
Yeah, I did 2 years. I'd never missed a day at Park for 2 years straight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I bet.
So, if you've ever worked at Park or
whatever, Mark don't fuck around.
Yeah, it's for whatever the reason is, you end up not working there. So I think I was in free agency period at that time. And I was like, I like doing this stuff while I'm still working in IT. And so I just kind of started throwing parties, not really knowing what I'm doing. But I knew people. I practiced on quality and quantity. I didn't want everybody. I just want a certain look. I wanted a certain vibe. I wanted to party with people who knew how to party, that wasn't fighting, that wasn't this, that, and a third, or this so you can mitigate the risk at the end of the day. And
people like yourself. You want to be around people like you.
I wanted to turn up too, but I wouldn't have to have to worry about something happening on the back end. Right. And not that I'm not or that I'm afraid of anything happening. It's just more so
just real classy, man.
Yeah, but nobody. I'm gonna tell you something. When people put they fineries on and come out in their big whips or whatever have you, and got your fresh cut or your hair done, nobody want no trouble, man. I don't give a damn. I done went to Go-Go's and all this stuff growing up, and initially when we walk out the door, it's rare that you got somebody say, "Hey, this could be the night we start a bunch of shit."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So people spending their money, they want to have a good time. You know what I mean? For the most part, I'm saying, don't get it mistaken, man.
Say what you gotta say, Jay.
It's been some nights I got to the door and said, I feel like knocking shit over.
No,
I mean,
you got
that's like once a week. It's all right.
You got dickheads everywhere, but for the most part, every city you go to, when people get together and get their shit together, they come and have a good time. Now, things can happen when you mix alcohol and music and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've seen the most exclusive spots. I've been to LA, I've been all around the world, and I've seen stuff kick off everywhere. But at the same time, if you asking why somebody's coming out, they're coming out to enjoy themselves. So, like you said, if you talk about quality over quantity, you know what I'm saying? You trying to get the best people to come out that's going to spend the top dollar. At the same time, they come to do what you want to do.
It's going to not just stand around. It's actually going to party. I wanted the people that it was meant for you. Let's say Ebou was like, man, I had a tough day. I'm going to throw my finest on. I'm going to bring Jane out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a good time. Well, Eddie, I told Eddie to come through. Eddie's going to come.
Jane trying to knock shit over, so we don't know.
But I'm going to bring out the people.
Right.
Okay?
I mean, so the thing is, if I knew you, I could police and pacify whatever it is issue that you might have had.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jane, come over. Let me holler at you real
You know
quick.
what my best pacifier is?
What is it?
1942.
I'm like, shot.
But that's the one critique I do got about our city, right? With the exception of a handful of promoters, for the most part, people get spoiled when you're spending your money, right? And what they begin to do, they begin to stop. Because the job is to cater. You cater to what people's likes are. And if you can help them, especially if we're not outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, you know, like even Eddie, you know, we were stuck on certain particular bottles of liquor or champagne. And we were like 5-year-olds. If you told us you didn't have it, we kind of gave you this fucked up look. Now, your best bet is to promote another bottle really fast in the way you talk instead of telling me to stop whining. Because I'm not going to spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 and you just talk to me about stop whining.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people do spend that kind of bread in spots, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we just spend on a regular going to some of these spots, obscene amount of money. But there's no price on your happiness. There's no price on... I just been places and went in there at 1 o'clock and knew it was going to close at 3 and had the greatest time for that 2 hours. And to me, it was worth every dime. I done went to some spots and had a person who begged for my business. And once we got there, they treat us like secondhand citizens.
Man.
So let me break that down for you because that was the biggest part of what I was doing. Everyone just thought, you doing some cool stuff. You got the celebrities coming out. My whole thing was customer service. If you're spending $1 with me, I'm gonna go above and beyond to make sure that you and your friends have a good time. I like to set proper expectations. This might sound boring to somebody else, but that was kind of like my calling card, and that's the reason why people gravitated toward me. It wasn't just a good look. I knew that, Jane, you coming out, you look absolutely amazing. I just want you to know that bring you and your homegirls out. I'm gonna make sure to take care of y'all. Y'all can at least come out without having to worry about someone grabbing onto your arm, X, Y, and Z, just so you can have a good time. Now, if you wanted to go talk to them, please do. Just make sure you keep that over there because I don't know them like that. You know what I'm saying? So I would just have that conversation and be like, whenever you felt like you need to come back, just say the word. Everyone wants to sit down or have like a home base when you go out, regardless of what it is, whether that's the bar, whether that's a section, whether that's a stairwell, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Everyone likes to have a home base. So my whole thing was like setting expectations with the guys, setting expectations with the girls. I literally have to tell dudes like, look, man, all the girls are already here. They're here to have a good time. Don't be weird. And people were like, what does that mean? I was like, you don't have to say much. You don't have to, whatever your game plan is, I was like, just be cool. You know what I'm saying? Don't be weird. No, because it happened.
They don't be going, but
they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do that anymore. Club etiquette has went out the window. No one's teaching anyone club etiquette anymore.
I got a partner of mine, right? And I would say to him, everything already set out. We got the bottles, we got the table, we got the situation. I need you to be anybody but yourself. He was like, what? Anybody but you.
Right.
And I know what you're saying. I mean, like, but at the same time, one thing about you dealt with West Coast people living out there so long, right?
Yeah.
So you realize that everybody in the country moves in different modes.
Absolutely.
And with DC guys, right, and ladies, we big on not being embarrassed.
Correct.
Big on it. I'm talking about, even if you told me I couldn't have anything that I just asked you for on my list of things, it's the way you tell me.
Correct.
And most of the time, anybody can be pacified. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have two willing parties. If I say you my man and I run up, stick my hand out, and you shake my hand and you look the other way, it fucks with somebody like me. Because I need you to look me in my eye when I'm talking to you. I need you to show me a proper amount of respect. DC people, I'm being honest. is big. We big on eye contact. We big on respect. And even if you can't do what we want you to do, at least have the courtesy to tell me. Don't send a waitress to me. Don't send some busboy to me. Don't send some. I remember I went to a spot. To make you laugh, I go to a spot and I paid for the. Actually paid for the artist that was there, but I pretended like I didn't know anything.
Right.
So I paid for a table. I came in. I sat down. It was funny. I sit down like this. We ordered all this stuff, and all of a sudden they came back with my American Express card, and they gave it back and said we don't accept American Express card. At the same time, they did like the girl clapped her hands. I'm not lying. They picked all the shit up. The bottles and everything, before I could even go to my pocket and get cash. Right. They did all that and walked away. The crowd started doing, nah, bro. When I tell you embarrassed, I was so done. I stood there like this for a minute and hauled ass to the door to get out of there. But it was kind of funny because somebody had to tell the lady at the door, hey, he paid for this. He paid for all of this. He just running out of here because he embarrassed. But I'm just joking, telling you a particular time that I felt it. Yeah, that was rough.
No, that I probably been like, you know how you in the spot and you all see it and everyone's like, that did just happen. Like, damn. And then now you can really say it. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah.
But I mean, like, you and I kind of came up in the same era as far as like promoting and doing parties and, you know, just going through that whole gauntlet and loop and training and whatever you want to talk, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna come back to this later, but as far as like the nightlife and, you know, back then, but with what you just said, as far as like being just about like customer service and customer experience, what do you think about like the clubs in DC in particular, like today, right now, as far as that goes? Is like, does that even exist? Like, as far as like, I mean, some of us are still out here. Yeah. But let's say like, just forget about us, like with other promoters, sub-promoters, whatever they are now, I don't even know.
Well, let me put the disclaimer on and say that I haven't really actively been in the scene like that. So speaking on something that's currently happening, this is more so my opinion based upon what I've seen.
But you've been there as a customer.
What I'm accustomed to. Yeah. I just think that after the pandemic, the market got too saturated and everybody wanted to be the promoter or the guy. With that happening, not everyone knew how to properly do it, even though they were the guy in their particular scene, in their niche market. You knew that on Thursdays, you could go to Shoutout Room. Boom. On Fridays, you could go to a number of certain spots. On Saturdays, Wednesday, Josephine. Saturday, Josephine. Saturday night, Rose Bar or Abigail, or, you know what I'm saying? You knew what to kind of expect. You know what? I really enjoy Capital on Sunday. I don't know why. That was
just a place.
I ain't gonna.
That was our baby live.
It was an old K Street. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Because it was nothing that wasn't my scene, you know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of people that crossed paths. Like, the beautiful part about DC is you can be a chameleon if you wanted to. You can hit the brunch spot. And this is my Sunday, right? I hit the brunch spot, whatever the brunch spot that's popping at the time. Cool. I hit the day party, whatever spot is popping at the time. Let's say I think DC was the most fun. Park Sundays was rocking. And that's not even a shout out. I just felt like every promoter was on that party. It was the hottest thing. It was brunch and then a day party. And after that, you would hit Griffin. Okay, Griffin, you hit Griffin on Sundays. And after Griffin, my guilty pleasure was Barcode. Don't ask me why it was Barcode. I was from 7, 9,
it's everybody's guilty pleasure.
Exactly, it's still headquarters.
They should just call that shit guilty pleasure at this point.
It's headquarters, it's HQ.
We love it, Shout out Taz and everybody. It's our people.
I don't want to use certain words to describe it, but if you've been there,
I love it.
You know what it is. And I really
use your words, nigga. What you mean?
Because everybody might take
all
it
smoke, no chaser.
It's undescribable.
Straight, because like basically, you know what I'm saying, we're in a smoke shop, you know what I'm saying, I no longer smoke anymore, but when I wanted to, that's where I would go to be guilt-free about my own transgressions.
That was a very beautiful way of putting it.
So I would go in the cut and just be like,
you gotta remember the clubs that are successful, right? Like Barcode had a long run.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to realize it has a pretty long run. Most clubs
over 10 years.
Well, no, they like at 9 now. But you're right. It's still around a decade.
Yeah.
So, but you got to ask yourself, what was the difference? And the difference was, like you said, you had a person that been in the nightlife like Taz, who when you see him, he acts like everybody. You know, he acknowledges you. He knows you. He remembers you. He don't treat you bad. And so I think with that alone and the location, right where it's at, it made you feel safer. You were comfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you had cities, you had a few spots down there that had a run, you know what I mean? But Barcode is still around. Now at 12 o'clock, like you said, everybody eats the Capital.
Look.
You know what I'm saying? And it was weird. It was very weird.
For whatever your reason was, that's one of your reasons in your opinion. And I'm not saying that you're incorrect.
Right.
You might have had a different reason. I might have had a different reason.
Right.
I just know that there was a time frame from 12 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 11, you know what I'm saying? 9 to like 10-ish, and then 11 to 12, like 11 to 12, but 10 to 12 was definitely Barcode. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. It didn't matter where everybody, whether 5'9",
It also makes a difference about the door people. Like, I think people don't understand how important somebody that works the door really knowing the people, the area, the everything. Because y'all door girls or door guys or whoever can really ruin a whole mood, experience, vibe before I even get inside, and I'm already
Because some of those
pissed
dope
off.
people think they run the party.
Not even that. Or they don't even know people. They don't even know who people are.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Sometimes they throw them type of people in front of the club.
I'm just saying a lot of places.
But they do it on purpose.
They do it on purpose.
Sometimes
It's a tactic. I still have issues getting the Barcode. Well, even though I know everybody, I just don't feel like having to hit up everybody. So, but it's okay because I also understand that it comes with the territory. Right. So when I get up there, I know exactly, hey, I'm such and such, and I've already hit whoever I need to hit on them. So they're already outside waiting. And like I said, it's no issue. I get the game. But like, I was also the same person to wait in line at my own parties to make sure that my security guards were doing what they're supposed to do. And they were like, why are you waiting in line? I was like, it's because you got people to take care of. I can get in at any time. Well, I don't know why I'm rushing. I got tables, I got blah, blah, blah. But like, he was like, yo, why you waiting in line, blah, blah, blah. I was like, because I want to respect you and what you do. And I think that's also the difference between, well, I'm not saying everybody, but I respected everybody from the owner to the bar back.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm dapping up everybody as I walk through. I'm hitting my bartenders. I'm hitting blah, blah, blah. I'm hitting my women's security guard, my men's security guard. I'm making sure I'm saying their name. That was a big portion of, why I was doing what I'm doing, because like you can get lost in just always trying to take care of your consumers who are your customers, the Ebus coming in, the Eddies coming in, and side note, everybody in DC thinks that's VIP, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I wanted to really, because these are the people I was working with every day. Outside
Can I
the
ask you something though?
Yeah.
Since you've been everywhere and live other places, like when I go to LA, when I go to Miami, even Atlanta, it's a different. Everybody has a different who they cater to. In LA, when I used to go to LA, it wasn't about what you had; it was who you knew.
Correct.
You could have your money could be long as train smoke.
Doesn't matter.
And you're not coming through the door.
Correct. Because most people party in the.
I think Miami used to be like that.
Now Miami was the same way, but Miami is so much more touristy that as long as you showed that you was able to pay, you could almost meet somebody. You could meet somebody during the day, fucking around on the beach. Correct. And a dude walk you through the whole thing because he may be a sub promoter and knew somebody. Right. But now Atlanta, what I found strange about Atlanta. See, I'm not a kid.
Don't talk bad about it.
No. I'm just saying, but I'm saying I'm not a kid, so I remember the growth of Atlanta. Okay. So for me to end up seeing, I used to be a little perturbed when I saw them having a renovated Roy Rogers, and they charging you Miami money to come into a renovated Roy Rogers. Yeah. And to me, I found ICE asking for LA and Miami money in certain spots. I found that to be ridiculous. Since then, a lot of clubs been upgraded and they pushing shit to another level. And Miami, Atlanta is a big melting pot also. So you may have people that say they're from there. They're not really from there. They're from Detroit or Chicago or DC or New York. And so it's a great feeling. It's a good party city. But I found out ironic that everywhere you go, you got to play by. Like if I'm going to LA, I talk to my guys who in the street who, and they tell me before I get there, they got everything set up. Mm-hmm. If I go to Miami, I can kind of freelance, but I talk to the club owners who I know, tell them I'm coming.
Correct.
So I can be straight when I get there. So, but DC is a little weirder. It's kind of different. You know what I mean? If you catch a man, you catch him. You know what I'm saying? He'll meet you at the door, have somebody meet you at the door, but it's just an odd thing.
DC weird as shit.
But DC is weird compared to other cities. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, in terms of what, promoters or venues or security? Like,
no, hear me out. Slow down. For instance, if we're gonna use Barcodes, because we use that as an example. We use Park for an example, right? Park set like certain spots set the bar as to what you expect from a club. Mm-hmm. The quality of the drinks, the food, the eye candy as far as people that work there, the kindness and all that comes. Park is sets and the dress code.
But which part of the process is weird?
The part of the process is weird is coming in.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever you're coming in to Park, you don't know what to expect. You can expect, and one day you may be greeted. The people at the door might be like this, hey, Carrington, my man, blah, 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 blah. The next day, they may say, stand right here while it's raining. While it's fucking raining. And my whole attitude turns from
I'll say this.
Let's keep it real, man.
You tell me your take on it.
Go ahead.
So, DC is 100% about who you know. 100% about who you know, and then your relationship with that person. You might know the security, like, just being security at that place, and that's your relationship, and that's it. Right. So when the shit is going and Jay-Z's in the building that day, nah, man, hold on, I gotta wait. Correct. Big boss said yada yada yada. That's just knowing them there. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have a relationship with them and you know them outside and you guys kiki and kaka, whether it's wherever it is, that's a whole different situation. It's about who you know and your level of how you know them in DC, period. Because there's people I know, of course, and I don't treat them the same as how I treat any of you guys. If you guys come to anywhere I'm at, straight walk in, But if anybody else that...
Let me clear that up.
I do that too, though. If it's somebody I know, but I don't really... Like, we don't... you don't know where I live. You don't know my family. You don't know nothing.
Yeah, but let me clear the air, though.
He's just saying the people that act funny.
I've been out front, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bringing a particular person in the club with me. Somebody who they know who the hell's standing here beside me, right? And at that moment, you get people outside that choose to act weird. Uh-huh. So once they begin to act weird, they're doing this because this is maybe their only chance to act like this with these people I got with me and me.
It seems like they hold.
So I hate, that's one thing about my city that I found a little funny because guess what? I'm born and raised from the district.
Right.
I don't have to act right.
Right.
And if I don't act right, ain't nothing certain shit ain't really happening.
100% of the time that
but
comes
you need
from...
me to act right. You need me to behave at the door.
I would say 100% of the time that comes from somebody above them.
Yeah,
that's not them.
Let me break
100% of the time.
There's two customer bases. There's the DMV bread, where you from. Most people can respect it, understand it, get it, go, this, that, and the third, and then there's everyone else. So you can take something a different way, but then you also didn't realize that someone just got cussed out. Someone else just got cussed out under them. Someone else just got cussed out under them. For whatever the reason, it has really nothing to do with you, but they're just doing their job based upon how the night is. Every night is different. Right. Every rundown is different. Just like when you go to a restaurant, they say, hey, we're out of this particular wine tonight. We need to offer something else. And let's say that was your particular wine, and you might get turned up because of how you normally are. So my job is to understand both parts. Are you DC bread? Are you everyone else? I can talk to them a certain way. I'll have to either figure it out while I'm talking to you or already know, you know what I'm saying, prior to.
But when you run into situations where somebody, let's say a LeBron James is standing here with me. You didn't know he was coming, you couldn't promote it, so you're not going to make money off of it that way.
Right.
But you know he's in the spot, you're going to shout it out when he's in there and all that.
Correct.
I'm asking you, what is the problem when everybody knows who the fuck this is?
Because they're not a decision maker.
Okay.
Yeah, they cannot make that decision.
It makes all the sense.
And they can be like, hey, what's up, bro? Oh, man, Rob, we had a great time at such and such and such. But he's not a decision maker.
Yeah.
Right.
There's only a couple people that make those type of decisions.
So-and-so said there ain't no sneakers or hoodies or nothing to... Oh, my God, I just got cussed out for that.
But tonight, there might have been too many of the people wearing sneakers or whatever it was in the spot. And now I have to...
I went through it. I went through it.
I think we
got it for real more like that, but
and
my God.
So I can bring up an example of Eddie that actually sat with me for a while when I came on the show. I was like, I never want to not show love to somebody. I think I was at Echo Stage. I had an Avion event with motherfucking Young Jeezy or something like that. And it wasn't that I didn't want to let Eddie in. I wasn't a decision maker then. This is a real live example that I saw him. He was there in the mix in the front. It's like, hey, bro, can you yada, yada, yada. I'll try to see what I can do. I went up there. It's like all the big wigs. It's the brand portfolio. It's distribution. It's the brand team. It's Jeezy's team. I make zero decisions in this environment. I'm along because of what I have done and what I'm currently doing with the brand or whatever it is. And like I felt sick because I was like, dang, Eddie's actually someone I actually rock with. But I had him like, bro, they're not letting me do X, Y, and Z. And I felt like I slighted him.
But at least you was able to say
I knew that was not the case.
Yeah, because like when you first walk up, I seen him. So it's like, oh shit, my man.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we got in, holla at your man Foot.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
But that was the connection. That was my man. Like, but I couldn't do it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I understand. I put it like this. Yeah. You put a better face on it than most. And Ebou, when like Ebou know how I am. He know how I get, right? When I come in, I can't. What I'm saying is, it used to bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm grown. I'm old.
Right.
But when I used to come in, I would think like, this is going to happen. We coming in, this is going to jump off. But I also used to be salty because I said, whoa, you letting a particular person in. But I'm spending money with you. I've been spending money with you since you putting flyers on my car trying to get me to come in. Right. So now all of a sudden, right, I'm at the door and I'm not coming in for free. So that means I got a pocket full of bread. Right. I ain't an asshole, so I'm not going to mess your spot up. That's not what I'm coming for. I'm going to come to party. And I'm every so often, I get a headache because of what happens at the door. It doesn't happen all the time. It's a rarity.
And then I'll come through. Right. I'll make it right. And I'll explain to you.
Right.
Hey, bro, I ain't going to hold you.
Right.
It looking crazy at the door.
Bad.
It looks crazy at the door. Right. That's normally not what we want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But let me take care of the back end. We'll figure something out because I'm not too worried about that. Especially if you hit me and I know that you're already coming through, I can't really handle what happens. You can be mad about it for real and not enjoy the rest of your night.
Right.
Or I can go above and beyond to make sure that you and your people enjoy the rest of the night. Because the thing is, 9 times out of 10, if something happens to that and you actually go in the club, you'll probably had a blast at it.
Right.
Whether it's with me or with someone else. And then you forget about it. You might be pissed off like the next day.
You should say, take a picture. This is how I started. And take another picture.
Correct.
This is how it ended.
So that's the real part about it.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So we're going to put a pin on that. We're going to definitely come back to the club shit. Somebody pass me that Jameson, please. Because we're about to get into some spicy.
Where's your Jameson?
Where's my Jameson?
She don't drink Jameson.
Oh, okay.
I don't really play around with y'all in this Jameson.
I want a gin.
You can slide it right back over here.
I'm a tequila girl. More of a tequila girl for sure.
She be faking with that.
No, but I want to fast forward a little bit or a lot of it into where you were, the show you were just on, it was called Ready to Love DC, which was on Oprah Winfrey Network, and that's a big deal. So, shout out to you on getting on that. So take us through, number one, I just want to know the process. How did you get on the show? How did that happen? Why did you decide to get on the show? And then we're going to get into while you were on the show. And then after the show.
I had known a producer via social media that reached out to me for a different show. Mm-hmm. And I interviewed for it 2 or 3 rounds, whatever it was. And when I was getting ready to fly to whatever it was, COVID hit. So it was for a different show. Supposed to be some island, some whatever it is. I don't know what the show is or what it was, but something like that, some dating show like that.
Which y'all did a pilot already?
No. We didn't even. This is literally just the interview process. Because in the last interview was you're supposed to fly to LA. The producer's supposed to see you. Yada yada yada.
Right.
COVID hit a week later. Right. So it was just kind of like I'm not stressing about it. I already know what time it is. their job, I wouldn't say lost their job, but their production just stopped with everything. So I'm like, all right, cool. She hit me up again a year and some change later, when, we got vaccines in place, I think we still had the 10-day quarantine, whatever, or 14-day quarantine at the time. So she reached out to me. It's like, hey, are you still interested in doing a television show? I was like, well, I was interested then. Why not now? She's like, all right, well, it's for this show. I had never seen it. I actually had never watched a single episode. I didn't know what it was. Right. I'm thinking, in my mind, it's like, what's the show? F-Boy Island or whatever? What is it? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking it's one of those like younger.
Talking about Love Island?
I'm thinking it's like a younger dating show. I didn't know that it was a more mature.
I think it's a game show.
Yeah, challenge dating, something of the sort. Just I didn't know that it was like real people trying to find. And mind you, they told me to watch it. I watched a couple seasons. My homegirl was on the first TV.
What cities were they before?
Well, they have Atlanta, and Houston, and I want to say there was another one, but they did DC first season, and then they called the second one Potomac, but it's still DC. I knew branding purposes, I suppose, but yeah, I got hit up to do it. I flew. I did my rounds of interviews. They interview you. They do a psych eval. They do a bunch of stuff like that. Make sure that you're not crazy.
Not to snap out.
No, I'm serious. Like them things are long. You got to fill it out. You got to sit with a doctor and things like that. So
did anybody fail?
I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, to be fair, I did ask him. I said, would I know whether I failed or would I have not? And he's like, you really wouldn't. He's like, we just have that for ourselves. So you do that. And then I literally, once that was done, I had to fly. I wasn't living in San Diego at the time. Most people didn't know that, because COVID, I was in Florida, I was in San Diego. I'm just trying to figure out life at this point. Like, I was doing, before pandemic, I was at Park. Mm-hmm. I was full-time, handling stuff, doing whatever, parties, and then just hit. So I was in San Diego. I decided to go back home, and then I flew back to DC literally like the weekend before. And kind of had to I just packed everything up and just had to figure it out. I knew I got here Thursday, I'm filming Saturday, you know what I'm saying? And then that's kind of how the whole process kind of started. Mind you, I was still very much a DC person, this, that, and third, but I went through my process. I kind of figured out what was going on, producers-wise, who was coming on the season. There's not much in DC that I don't know, especially how it moves, especially something of like this magnitude. So I was on the show, had a great time with my little dates or whatnot. But
my little date.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't. I wasn't on there for a very long time because for me, I didn't want to be like I wasn't going to be a character for somebody. Because to me, regardless of what you were trying to convey as a television show to your base audience, I still had to live here. And a lot of the stuff that happened on the show, people think actually happened in real time. So whether you were good, bad, or otherwise, there's a lot of disdain for you because you're now on television and people are like, hey, you did X, Y, and Z. Whole time.
It's still a television show, but people don't think about that.
This whole time someone is curating this to tell a story for whatever it is. And to be honest, I think I got off because I wasn't in the bottom. You know how you get voted off, oh, you're in the bottom, blah, 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 no one wants to talk to you. I wasn't in the bottom after talking to the girls. And
so it was like The Bachelor or something? I mean,
so basically...
Rob don't watch no damn TV.
So it's 10 professional females, 10 professional males.
Okay.
And, tired of the hoopla, I'm trying to date, yada, yada, yada.
They want to find love.
They want to find love. And I'll give you a reason why I did the show, instead of going into the details, was more so I was in a transitional period of my life from essentially being the prime example of what a F-boy would look like. And I have to really address that for myself. Self-awareness is...
So you're a hoochie.
Ma'am.
Her?
Ma'am.
Used to be.
Jen.
Former face.
Jen. I was a single male that made good money, that dressed a certain way, moved a certain way, smelled a certain way.
So you
in a suit. In a suit. I was like,
living
my best life
Okay.
without anyone being able to call me their boyfriend.
That's right.
So if that is your interpretation, sure, but I'm going to clarify that for you.
AKA who?
Was it fun? Was it fun for you, or it stopped being fun?
No, the whole process was fun because it was the first time that you've really been like in that process for myself.
Yeah.
It stopped being fun once it stopped filming. That's when everything else, like I think a lot of us on the show, and I'm only speaking for myself, but had to go through some sort of anguish, mental anguish, or understanding what's going on.
This is while it was airing, and it was like,
no. While it was airing is fine. I think that I didn't stay long enough to see all the drama that happened on the season.
Gotcha.
I found out most of it during our reunion show, and I was like, "Oh, this is way too much." I was like, "But I'm sitting here just keeping my mouth
help
cut."
me out with it, because I promise you, I'm kind of slow.
Okay. So the dating part, imagine you going out, let's say you're out and about in the scene and you're going on dates like that. I went on a date at Ben's next door or right outside Ben's next door. And you're having talks with people and you're looking to date long term, not just my girlfriend, like you potentially looking to marry them, but you have to date other people.
Right. But you guys, y'all lived in the same
not for this season because it was COVID. So we were the first COVID TV show from the Really Love franchise.
Gotcha.
So we had to do separate dates and make sure that everyone was vaccinated. We had PCR tests every other day. You know what I'm saying? So like we had to stay healthy. If one person got it, the whole production had to stop. So we were very much, you can't hang out with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Whatever. Granted, we weren't doing that anyway, but like that was really the emphasis on it. But yeah, where was that with it?
So.
You talking about the Benz next door? You gotta finish this.
Well, yeah, the dates.
No, what I'm saying is you gotta understand something. I don't watch a lot of shows, right?
Right.
But what I'm trying to figure out is what went wrong, bro. Tell me, like, what was going wrong with it? Like you said, after the production, after the actual
okay,
film.
so social media stuff.
What's your life?
Wait, your life. So when someone portrays on television, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, people who are not aware of you or they know of you, the problem for me was that I was known enough. But whatever was coming about on the television, on the back end, on the social media, it was like, this is this person, and this is what it is. I got a lot of backlash for some skeletons that were in my closet, and whatever the information wasn't even accurate. But the point is that it came from a black woman, and I can't even
defend yourself that way.
Essentially, correct. Defend myself in that way because this show was catered to and for black women. You see what I'm saying? And I was like, all right.
That's deep.
I was like, but for like 2 weeks straight, it sucked because like you're getting talked about on this network, you're getting talked about on this blog, you're getting talked about on this, Twitter.
So basically, someone tried to expose you.
Essentially, so you see someone trying to
spark rumors, things get
correct. But if I don't address it how everyone feels like I should address it, it's now fact.
But men can't address stuff like that. It's weird. We kind of you wearing the black hat, you riding the black horse, you the bad guy.
No, I did some of this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you
said
I did some of the shit. So I did. But it wasn't like
get stolen by me.
But that was what was being depicted. You got to understand, self-awareness is a big thing. So you gotta be. I wasn't on the oh my god. No, I was like, but that's not what it was made out to be. It was basically as if you stole X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, and robbed the bank. Ebou, the whole time you're like, no, it's like I just dropped my money off at the bank, you know what I'm saying? But like I might have drove off because I found $20 on the floor and put it in my pocket. you see what I'm saying? But that's the story that was being told, and now it's like telephone. And so for me, and it was just
a hell of a thing.
And then there was a lot of clout chasing with it. So now individuals doing blogs and trying to get on and like,
were there people used to be those people that you're talking about right now?
Yeah.
Were they your
co-hosts or something like that?
Not even co-hosts.
No,
friends.
This was just
previous people that
previous people that I had interactions with.
Was there anybody that you don't have to say you don't have to say names or anything like that. But were there any people that you were semi close to or anything that
people started acting funny?
Yeah, before the show.
People started acting funny afterwards.
Yeah.
So hold up, listen.
Before the show, we had friends.
So you were single.
Yeah, I was single. Yeah.
So they were mad about
that happened 6 years ago.
The whole thing that went on.
It was the fact that I'm being on television.
Yeah, and you probably about to blossom.
Yeah.
And shit.
Like you gotta understand, like the conversation that we had, you know, internally with production. We about to make sure you know you good, but I'm out here. Before my show aired, shit started dropping. Wow. And I was just like,
he said 6 years prior.
Yeah. And I was just like, but I ain't even the same person. But that also, so I put it like this: doesn't matter what happened in that process. I started changing. I said, I gotta accept whatever it is, regardless of whether it was right, wrong, X, Y, Z. How do I remove myself from the situation and make myself a better person? So this is like, everybody can laugh at it or whatever it is. It really doesn't matter to me because I had to grow as a person, and that was a growth moment. And so I was like, all right.
Come into Jesus moment and say, look, I have done some of these things.
No, it was just like, I can't lie to myself anymore.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It had nothing to do with nobody else. Because being in nightlife, I give zero fucks.
Right.
Like, you gotta understand, I don't care. Like, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you. But if you decide to come at me crazy one day, Rob, I just don't care.
Right.
I'm not coming at you like physically or anything like that.
Right.
Like,
You gotta have a thick skin. You gotta have a thick skin.
Bro, we got a party to do. I gotta run a business.
Right.
You know, I'll holler at you later.
Right.
So like, I didn't really care in that on that front. It was more so like, there's some things in me that I want to see myself do better and be in a better position. But that started my progress of, because I actually wanted to date. Being single, I don't know how to date. Right. I know how to have a good time and how to invite you out with me to have a good time. And then you be like, oh, these are, to me, they weren't dates. If you were my homegirl, I'm like, yeah, we're going to get sushi. We're about to go to this spot, hit a cocktail lounge. At the cocktail lounge, we're going to the concert. We might hit the club and grab a table somewhere, X, Y, and Z. But that wasn't dating with intention and with purpose. And I realized that as I'm getting older, I need to be a little bit more focused on particular areas to know what I want and what I don't want.
Absolutely.
And I think that was whether it was with someone or needing someone, I had to kind of switch my focus.
For sure.
And I never had that focus before. Again, I was the young fib. Yeah.
Just say what it is.
I mean, we all had that stage.
But you didn't see it. I'm gonna ask you a question. See, a lot of people don't see themselves as a bad guy.
Not me.
Right? Like you can actually go through a series of friendships, or like you said, inviting people out to enjoy a good time when you're enjoying a good time. But I've had people slow me down and tell me, hey, it's not practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to, you know, where we going from this? And I'm like, whoa. Because one thing about men, we like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. If you ain't careful, we stay nervous about getting our tail.
He got some colloquialisms like
but I
was waiting to hear what that meant.
You feel what I'm saying? What I'm saying, you constantly worried about getting caught. Doing, you know, like, even though you don't know what court is.
I didn't care to get caught because I was never
single. Have you been in long terms?
I hadn't really been in long term.
You wouldn't know what getting in a cage looked like.
That's what I'm trying to say, though.
It's not always the cage.
That's the point. It's like, I never had put that. I
keep looking at it like y'all going to jail.
I had been with, you know what I'm saying, someone, but I was younger. They were older than I.
Gotcha.
So once I came about...
Yeah, sugar mama?
No, they were like 7 years older than me. I was 23, 24.
What is it, 10 years?
Older, you know, I go with mama.
You 23,
Auntie mama.
Somebody with the
I thought I was in love, you know, whatever.
No, I got you, but I understand.
And
how many kids you got, bro? Wow. Boy, girl?
2 girls, 9 and 7.
Girl down. Sorry for you.
Absolutely. But you know, we out here. You know what I'm saying?
We out here.
And and I love it. So no, I understand, like, you know, why you went on the show, or, you know, anybody else went on the show for...
It's an opportunity.
It's definitely an opportunity. Get yourself out there.
It was twofold.
And potentially meet someone.
It was twofold, because I didn't do it for the... I felt like I was more popular before the show, you know, aired, and I knew that this was the target audience.
That's the thing. So, I mean, back, I think it was like 2010, 11, or 12, something like that. VH1 and TV1 were trying to do like a promoter-driven show in DC with all of us, the Unique Societies, David Ray, me, Martin Taz, blah, 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 blah. African promoters, all of that. And I went on the interviews, first round, second round, and they were asking me all these questions. We did a video interview with someone from Viacom in Cali.
Yeah.
Even that first interview, I was like, I don't know if this gonna work.
DC's a little different
because they're like, do you mind? And I had a girlfriend at the time and all of this stuff, but they, all of these shows are based on drama. And drama equals ratings.
Correct.
And ratings equals money.
So that's what I meant by I didn't want to be a character. I was like, you're not going to have me on television arguing with a black woman.
Exactly. Or another dude. Or fight. Nothing.
It didn't matter. My focus was literally, I'm not in that space.
Right.
And you're not going to edit it and chop it up to me having an argument.
So these are choreographed? I mean, I'm
these
a
are
little confused.
unscripted, but they're...
I'm saying, hear me out. If I'm watching WWE, tell me.
Yeah.
If I'm watching,
These are real emotions, but with the story, they might shoot us. They might shoot us all day, but they'll cut it up, edit it for whatever reason it is, to promote whatever reason it is.
I'm talking about like an argument or a storyline, something like that.
No, the argument, all of that stuff is real. But
I'm gonna go home and binge watch this shit.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm like, oh man,
remember when Ray J had the little hat on? And they were like, he was talking about something on his show, and then all of a sudden his hat was cocked to the side.
Yeah.
Like, there are moments like that where, like, it would be daytime having a conversation, and then they'll cut to a clip, and it seems like a continuation on from the conversation, and it's nighttime in the background.
Oh, shit.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's produced.
I got
You see what I'm saying?
Like they're telling you what you're talking about. Like you go into the scene like that.
Conveying whatever it is they want to show, thinking that they're going to get whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just how your personality.
I think Jane should be on the show.
I'm not giving you anything.
I think Jane should be on the show.
Well, see,
How many times I've been asked to do reality shows? I'm not into. I don't think that would be.
I did a pilot for a toe show.
I don't think so.
It's a toe. Like, remember they had the toe thing going on in my head? I remember that. Okay, I did a pilot. Right, I did a pilot for a toe show, right?
Be your manager, Joe.
With Kurt, Kurt. So it was kind of wild because you're right. It was like I couldn't do it because we were impounding. I was towing 3,500 cars a month. And my company was towing that many, and I didn't have time. My shit was serious. Like, people come in that joint mad. They serious. I had people come in there. I had a guy say, "I'm going to kill." I was at the club. I was at Barcode, and I was at brunch. And it was a guy called, and he was like, he came there and he's like, "I'm gonna kill everybody here." And by the time I got to the office, he told me I'm cutting everybody's head off. I never seen nobody get their head cut off, so it was important for me to be there, for me to see this. You know what I'm saying?
You're like,
so I remember pulling up, hopping out whatever I was in, stealing my club shit, going in the office, getting behind the desk, sitting back in the chair, and he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the owner, and I gotta see you cut some heads off. It's super important."
I never seen anybody get
decapitated. Out the club. I never seen nobody get decapitated. I heard about ISIS doing it, but I ain't never seen a black man do it here. So I'm waiting. And then one thing about it,
go to Africa.
But what I'm saying, that particular show, I think that infringed on my everyday life, and I couldn't see myself doing it. Even though they loved the pilot, they would like, "Oh, we gotta have him. We like this. We like the look, the bald head, the beard, the aggressiveness, the guys that were towing like that." But at the same time, you're right. It was super uncomfortable. There was a lot of money involved, but I didn't care about that because it wasn't worth my peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Some people can't handle that though. Being on a reality show.
I figured that since my life in the limelight was already on display for everybody.
Popping.
I was like, why not look at the dating portion of it? Because I feel like people will be interested because some girls tell me you're an enigma. We don't know nothing about you. We just know that you do X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
blah,
keep
blah,
it that
blah.
way.
So, but I still wanted to show a different side of me. And so when I was showing that, they didn't show any of that. I've had one-on-ones. Like, I'm on a balcony talking. Like, there's a whole scene that y'all didn't see, 2 or 3 scenes that y'all didn't see because they didn't want to edit it a certain way or they wanted to give a certain light to certain people as it was growing. You know what I'm saying? Post-production, you don't know what's actually happening. We're just filming everything all at once.
Right.
Whole bunch of cameras, whole bunch of mics.
Right.
So we don't know what's actually on air until we see it. And then, like, we're seeing it real time with you.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you removing yourself from the process?
Like that?
Or you...
Well, I was on my second date, I was voted off. And I was just kind of like, they were like, "Oh, you're not ready to love." And I was just like, all right, cool. Like, if that's the case, well, I'm still here with a beautiful woman. Let's still have such and such. Like, I'm gonna flip it every day. I'm like, let's have a great conversation. I was like, if I'm on the way out, cool. That's how I played it.
Right.
But then they kept like, production's trying to get a reaction and a negative reaction.
Yeah.
So then they start saying outlandish things like, we heard that you were aggressive. You see what I'm saying? And then now, you feel me? And I'm just kind of like, aggressive? But like, that was, if you see one of the clips, they use that as a tease. Yeah. And so my mom saw that, and my mom was like,
I could not do it.
I don't like how they portrayed you in X, Y, and Z, because I know that you weren't talking about it. And
so
I
I call
like,
the cameras. I'll be like, flip everything over this bitch.
Me, knock all this shit over.
Remember, they're trying to
So how you took this shit? You just told him, look.
Oh, so when they actually told me, hey, when you're not really, I said, thank you for your time. I really had a good time. And I walked off.
Yeah, my man was only on
like the
2
thing is, I
episodes.
found out what they were doing while I was sitting there, and I was like, I realized that you're trying to get a reaction.
You got game conscious.
Yeah, I was like, so I just started smiling. You know how you just, oh wow, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. I was like, great. I was like, but I already know what's happening. So
how many seasons this ran?
That was this is
first season.
mine
was the
was
first
tech.
season.
No, this is DC. There's like
DC,
This
though.
is
Yeah,
there's
DC
6 seasons for Potomac, and now they're doing Miami. It's funny. I actually used to talk to a girl in Miami who's on the show in Miami now. So we and her, we're cool. Like, that's the homie. So like, I was just giving her, pointers.
Hands up, let her know this was coming.
pointers and blah blah blah. And she went on a couple episodes. So
Damn,
No, we knew a lot of the people
we
that
got
were
some
on.
friends on there.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, we had some friends on the DC one.
See, I'm gonna go when I promise you
I definitely didn't
tomorrow.
watch it, so I gotta see some now.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of not a lot, but
it
a
was
good
our
amount of
first
people
one of DC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a good amount of people in the nightlife scene somehow, somewhere.
Shout out to
bartenders.
Quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quick, because he got the recurring joint right now. And so
Yeah,
they
that's what I came
really,
from.
Yeah, I did see something. Him
Love
and
and Marriage
this
DC.
old lady on there. Yeah,
so that's the love and marriage one.
That's what you're trying to get to.
I mean, but that would be the natural progression, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if let's say,
You get on that,
let's just talk about it. Let's say I got together with someone who was on the show
right.
and decided like that's gonna be my lady and blah blah blah. Why wouldn't I be like, hey,
Same
love
way.
and marriage? Oh, now it's DC, blah blah blah. Now the thing is, love and marriage is actually a big show on home. To where it's Huntsville, now it's DC. They're getting renewed every weekend.
Gotcha.
Some of the people from Real Housewives of Potomac switched over. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To that network. But regardless of what it is, I was always against reality TV. And then I was just like, I think that the way that everything is changing when it comes to the access, the social media, things of that nature, like these are actually great opportunities for people, especially people of color, to get their business out there if you can control the narrative.
Right.
Hard to control
That's
the
what it's all
narrative.
about.
See, we're not used to having PR people here like that. That's more like LA. But if you can control, or at least do just enough without doing a whole bunch to tarnish whatever it is. Because remember, you still got to live in a bubble, bubble within yourself. But the thing is, people are starting to elevate now. And I think at the end of the day, for me, that was the biggest thing. Because I was like, everyone who gets big from DC goes to LA, goes to New York, goes to Miami. And I was like, now we finally have this kind of like something here,
Spotlight, yeah.
regardless of whatever it is. And I think that was a part of one of the bigger reasons why I decided to join the show. Because I was like, finally, DC is getting its shine.
Right.
Most people don't, unless you like are from here or New York or Delaware or something like. Most people didn't know. I'm talking about rappers coming to town. Well, we didn't know DC was this lit. We didn't know collectively. Do you know that DC is one of the finest places to find the finest women
We know
in the
that's
Why are
United
we
States?
single?
But hear me out. This
Because it's
show,
a
Where are the men?
but this whole show is based on.
Yeah.
That's what we do this on a DC to broaden the horizons of people who don't understand our city. For everything from our genre of music to what we eat to how we depict it. I mean, throughout every week, we consider super aggressive. This is really crazy. Even though it's definitely aggressive.
Are we considered more aggressive than New York?
Oh, we're very aggressive.
We're talking about certain part of
people?
DC. DC
I'm
is
talking
transient.
about overall. DC definitely is a transient city.
It's transient.
But at the same time, when you are like we have great restaurants, we have great like I'm gonna tell you.
I think in your area, you're right. I think right now, absolutely not.
Hear me out. Slow down, cowpoke. Listen, let me say this. I didn't realize I had a cousin that came from somewhere else. Right? And the cousin came here. And I remember riding back, picking the cousin up from an airport. And as I'm riding back, the cousin is pointing to everything and shooting me all kinds of history because the cousin had took DC history where they were.
Right.
And so as they're pointing and stuff like it's broadening my horizons as to what I took for granted in my own city. The nicest of the restaurants, the memorial spots, all this kind of stuff. So
That's
what
true.
ended up happening, I ended up getting a quick tutorial on my own city, right, from someone who appreciated it more than what I did living here.
Right.
And he was telling me about everything from where Thurgood Marshall hit when he first went into, the Supreme Court. Where he was telling me about Marion Barry, we were talking a little bit about it, and it made me laugh because he's a kid. But to him, he's in school and he's this.
Right.
And I know that may sound totally off basis, but it let me know that my city is probably the most misunderstood city on this coast, or maybe in the country. You know what I'm saying? And we need things like your show and stuff like that to show that we definitely, love is love, or a relationship is a relationship, or a marriage is a marriage, or a club is a club, or a car is a car. Whatever it is, whatever's going on, a lot of times, right, people have misconceptions of different spots. Like you can think you can go to these spots, like you might say, I'm going to New Orleans, and in your mind, all you know about is the city of New Orleans.
Yeah,
you don't realize Louisiana's entire state.
Different parish.
You're on a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? You're on a whole nother, the city is massive, it's big, and a lot of stuff is going on. You may go to New York, and in your mind, you're thinking just Brooklyn or Manhattan, but it's not. So I think that we have kept everything to us. We kept our music. We kept everything, we hold everything so close. But one thing about the district, what I do love, is like you said, it's a melting pot. People come here from everywhere. They may work temporarily and leave. They may want to stay. They go to school. They come to Howard and all these different universities here and stuff like that, and the government working here and all that. So I'm definitely going to look and watch your whole show. I'm going to follow you as far as everything you're doing because, man, I'm going to tell you something. I like to know that we got a full body here. We're not just a head or toes. Everything is going on.
It's a whole thing going on in DC. And I love it. No matter, I wish I could just start just talking about every aspect of what's going on so that other people outside, like on some Breakfast Club type stuff, because there's a lot of dope stuff really going on. But I think, again, like I said, I was such in my bubble or on the grid that I didn't really understand what was happening. There's a lot of Black ownership going on. Like, shout out to the guys at Rose Bar, Unique Society and A1 for now being part owners of Lost Society.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta understand, this is my former guys when I was part of promoting Unique Society specifically. But my partners were A1. So like, it's the thing is the joy of seeing Black men, Black women ownership. Shout out to Kitchen Crave. Kitchen Crave did my baby shower.
That's right.
Like, I don't think y'all understand. Kitchen Crave did my baby shower before they ever did anything. My daughter is 9 years old now.
They was at cities.
My daughter's 9.
I remember when they came up the porch when they started Barcode.
We did this in the
but JR was at Barcode for
we did this in the backyard of my house in Upper Marlboro. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know that story. So whenever I see JR, I'm like, yo.
That's right.
And it's like, that's my man. Like, I was like, I don't try to be in your spot, do X, Y, Z. I don't try to like. I remember when you were here, and I love to see where you're going now. And I think that's a lot of just the love that's here in DC, because a lot of people are really doing it. Like, I'm a shout out the guys that are in LA right now. You know what I'm saying? And Jay Murphy is just at the Grammys. Luke Lawal was just at the Grammys, killing it. DJ Social, who used to do parties at Rose Bar, was specifically at the Grammys. And regardless of what they're doing, I don't know what they're doing specifically, but I'm seeing the progression of wherever they were at to where they're at now. Right. You could say the same thing if you might have known Wale when he was a kid. Yeah. But he's also doing his thing out in different areas. My whole thing was, I was like, as their representative of us, shout out to McKenton too, who's out in LA too.
That's
like,
the homie.
A lot of the stuff needs to be seen that's happening in the district where the people are coming from. Like, I feel like there needs to be a new documentary, about, I don't know if it's Nitelife or it's called The Grid or whatever it is.
I don't think that would ever happen because there's be so much janky bullshit that would go on with that.
But that needs to be
wait, hold on. Why you think that?
That's why we got.
What's the janky bullshit that would go with it?
I thought this was a News 4 production. There's a lot of janky shit that you and I both know that goes on with Nitelife.
I mean, yeah. But
it might not be the older promoters that came up from the era of customer service. It's more or less, it's a mix, yes.
For sure.
But more or less, a lot of the younger ones that have now came up, in that 30 to 40 range that do a lot of bullshit.
It could be, but I still would like to put that on display.
Highlight?
You know, it's not about
highlight?
It's not about highlighting the jank. You gotta understand. Look at it from a point of view of like
It'll get
this is
ratings.
how DC is moving. Because what you don't quite understand is that every market has its own janky shit. That's
No, I
going on.
agree.
And like all the backstories and like I want to shout out to AG Alex getting one and shout out to the family. He just lost his brother.
Yeah.
But AG came to DC, brought Migos, brought Drake's and the Futures through and XYZ when I was doing that type of stuff. But I was learning about what they were doing in Atlanta, and we started emulating some of the stuff there from how they support each other each and every venue. And that's what I want to bring up too, is like we were so on in DC, we were so like, I'm gonna get it by all means. But now you start seeing a lot of collaborations happening.
Because they're finally getting it that they ain't gonna win unless they join up in forces like Power Rangers.
I mean,
Instead, they all want to be Beyonce.
Well-
Beyonce had to be Destiny's Child first.
Facts.
Well, the thing is, regardless if that's a perspective that sticks or not, it's just kind of like the results is that everyone is now winning, everyone is getting money, and not and it's not just pulling from the same resources, the same crowd. Like everyone has their own thing, or own connection. The reason why Pusha T is involved with certain people here, and why what was something in the water? Yeah, shout out to Dre the Mayor.
That's
and like something in the water, you know what I'm saying, is what was in DC. Like you gotta understand that a lot of us, whenever people come to DC or New York or even Miami, everyone comes to DC for whatever the reason is.
I agree. We got Sunday
But those are the
Funday on lock.
stories. But those are the stories. Do you know Justin LeBoy put our stuff on blast, talking about whenever someone comes to the DC, they realize when you say hi, they hand you a shot. Like, certain things like, no, I'm serious. He's like, that's how they say hello.
We talked about a lot of things
in
that
DC.
goes on in DC.
But that was from his first time visiting here, and it went viral. It wasn't just that, it was like a thing. It was kind of like, have y'all ever been to the full cycle of DC?
He also talked about the colorism in our clubs too.
But that's in LA.
But we
Like,
hospitable.
if you black, you're not gonna get in nowhere. Like that's just.
No, he was talking about the colorism as far as the bottle girls and the workers. There's a lot of things. That's what I said. So are you serious that you really want to highlight a lot of the bullshit that be going on in these clubs?
Slow down.
Would you rather not have DC be put on a map at all, and then address those secondarily?
It just be.
When you say the color,
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know what you're talking
It
about.
gotta be put out there in order to be addressed.
I'll let her tell it.
Obviously.
I'll let her say it.
But I mean, the nightlife, everywhere you go, that's
the
what's
same thing.
popping.
No,
It's
it's,
the same.
I'm gonna say this right
What do you
now.
mean that's what's
Well, shoot
popping?
it down and tell me where it's at, because maybe I ain't been.
No, it's
I
not
want to
about-
ask. I
Well,
want to
go ahead,
ask.
ask
What do you
her.
mean that's what's popping?
No, hear me out. Listen, slow down.
I just want to be informed.
words.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Don't say that's what's popping.
I was like, no, you're not.
like,
I ain't
what
thinking
that
about it.
mean?
Hey, look, Carrington, right. Listen, two things you can't take back is a word and a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to try to pull either back. Let me get this straight. Everywhere I've been on this coast and outside this coast and outside the country, right?
Any major spots?
Any major spot, you're going to have a variety of people there, and you cater to the people that come visit there. Now, when you say the colorism thing, right? I think, by me being around for as long as I have, we kind of transcended it to a certain extent. You're going to have a certain amount of this color, that color, this ethnicity, and that's just the way it is. As far as like, we're no different than any other city as far as what you see in your
Well,
clubs.
he highlighted it for DC, and it was very clear when you looked at the pictures of bottle service bartenders and bottle girls versus certain spots where they were literally only light-skinned or what we could consider foreign versus a variety, like you would say. Because I can understand if I go somewhere and it's like you got one dark skin, one light skin, an Asian, a white. That means we have a variety.
Right.
Versus we go somewhere and it's all one shade.
I can have a whole discussion about it, but I don't think it's for the viewers.
That's why I said, why are we
think
like
so.
it's double-edged sword.
But why?
That's
It's a double-edged sword.
Well, let's have the conversation.
Is that fair in DC or
No,
clubs
it's
in general?
it's not specific to DC.
It's everywhere.
Can I say
It's
that?
everywhere.
Yes, it's not.
It's not specific to DC, and
But wouldn't you
I
say
know
it is an issue
I know
here?
why it's really not an issue here, in the sense that there's more employment for everyone here because there's so many parties going on.
I agree.
Now you're talking about specific venues. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to make a certain amount of money when it comes to that versus other venues that are not. Sometimes you go for places that, for people that look like you. The thing is, you're talking about an urban demographic. There's not a lot of places that have different African diasporas under one umbrella in one city. So the fact that we can have this conversation means that we have a lot of black people in the area, period. Because I can go from this spot and I can go to the Trap, I can go to the strip club, I can go to, a White House Correspondents' Dinner, I can go to, and the thing is, it's black people everywhere. Now, in other markets, there just aren't as many black people there, so they're going to choose from whatever the best lot of them are. I'm not making the excuse for anybody, but I also know that not everyone's VIP and not everyone can get backstage. You see what I'm saying? And so, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. My point is that people can operate how the fuck they want to operate. Doesn't mean it's okay, but if their thing for them, it's like, if it's not broken, why are we fixing it? Or if certain people want to see Instagram models, why are you upset that there's Instagram models here? X, Y, and Z spending their bread. Everyone has their own formula for what it is. Again, not taking sides, backing them up, and I'm not taking a stand. I think that everyone should do what they do, especially if you're qualified. But also know that there's certain looks and certain vibes that you would want from a underground party, from a upscale type of event as well. And not saying that I've ran into a couple of different situations where I didn't have the quiet customer service from the person that I expected to have the quiet customer service from, but whoever shorty was over here, and you can visualize it how you want to, was able to handle the customer service aspect of it that I needed to in these different environments.
But does customer service have a skin tone?
It doesn't necessarily have a skin tone, but there is also elitism and classism as well.
Okay.
That goes into it. It's not just colorism.
Okay.
So I've ran into, for example, I ran into black girls that I just didn't quite get it, understood, absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, but they didn't grow up around black people.
Okay.
Being in California, it's a different environment. And to his point, when he was like, I'm going to different, spots in Atlanta and LA, I've always respected different hoods whenever I've gone. I've always checked in with certain people, and I've always analyzed or had the ability to analyze for what's going down as to reason why. When I step into a spot, I want to see how many lights are on. I want to see who's the maitre d'. I want to say who's the owner. I can pick part that for me specifically because I was a part of that scene. They're like, you're not having a good time. I was like, yeah, I'm actually people watching for the first hour and a half of what's going on so that I can feel comfortable with what's going on. Because now I can tell you, I'm like, watch this. You see them talking over there? They're discussing X, Y, and Z. You're like, how do you know? Watch this. In 2 moments, they're about to do yada, yada, yada. And for the colorism point, I'm like, I bet you she makes more money than she does. You be mad at me because I can recognize it, but I'm not necessarily agreeing with or disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just being able to be a real person and seeing exactly why they're doing the things that they're doing. Yep.
Okay.
I
don't know why.
Listen, Bronny just hit the 36.
Did he?
Oh, he just hit that last shot, I believe that.
Nah, that ain't 36.
Yes, it is. That's
34?
34.
All right, he's 2 away.
Okay.
How much time is
I
left?
thought he hit it. Hold up. Let's think. I ain't mean to stop the flow.
It's all good.
But I ain't gonna lie to you right now. My man about to hit this deuce.
Let's check it.
That's 34. It's 30. I apologize. I just
Come
saw.
on, man.
I saw
Come on,
Kareem.
man. Come
I saw
on.
Kareem back in the dome.
Hey, so before we get on, we have two other subjects that I wanted to get into.
Run it to us. But you know what? The breakdown you just gave us, because I'm gonna be honest, I know some bottle girls. I know my share of bottle girls in this town, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I can tell you a couple of them, and they're just black women, right? And they the top bottle girls here. Sure. They still make one phone call, get shit happening, and when I walk through the door, I want them because of how they treat me and everything. Don't get it mistaken. Eye candy is eye candy, but in the end, if I don't have good service means bullshit to me. Like I went to a restaurant, and I joke about it, me and my buddy, and we went in there, and I like certain tequilas. I like aged tequilas, right? Mm-hmm. So we're sitting at the bar. The bill is like to be continued at the bar, right? Just joking around.
Don't be putting it out there and then say the number, nigga. Just say the number.
But like this
number.
way, I'm just sitting at the bar.
My birthday on my 40th birthday was $20,000. Okay, so what?
Like this,
and you were there, and everybody was there.
Okay,
so
the bill was ridiculous.
Come on,
right?
man. Let's stop being shy. No. Let's stay with the fuck we gonna say.
I'm with you.
That's the difference in talking.
What I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make.
I'm black and I'm an African.
Black out,
the point I'm trying to make is the service. Listen to the service, though.
Yeah.
The guy we come in. So we get to kicking it with him about tequilas. We explain to him where we had this tequila at this part of the world and whatever. And so he goes into the basement, comes up with these different tequilas. We have a good time. Boom, had a great time. I go back by myself 2 months later. And he said, hey, where's Sean? Blah, 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 Rob, blah, blah, blah. And I could not. I'm going to tell you something. Certain things are worth the money that you spend. That's all I'm saying. And so certain services, for him to remember me, for him to remember what I liked, for him to remember what tequila, I got you, I got something for you. He could have told me I need $1,000 a shot, and I would have gladly paid it. Yeah. What I'm saying is it was ridiculous. It sounds crazy, but service, if you...
It's the number one thing.
You share the passion with
biggest.
him.
It's the number one thing.
Mind breaking bread with you. It's that simple.
But it's amazing when you meet that connection with somebody, whether it's a bottle
I'd rather break bread with you tequila because I know you know about it. You know about the bring the break. You see what I'm saying?
But it's a certain amount of you have to be. Yeah, you got to be a bad man to remember.
No, you just have to be there. I mean, perfect example.
I work in customer service, so I do that all the time. I always remember people's names, why you were here, what you were shopping for, and it blows people's minds.
Yeah, I might not remember your name, but like people that walk through this door smoking Tingz, when I'm in here, look, I know who gets pre-rolls, I know who gets indicas, I know who gets sativas, I know if you're walking in here and just spending $30, I know if you're walking in here and spending $400. And
but is that a testament to your memory?
No, but
or to your customer service?
Customer service. My memory is shit.
Customer service, you know how somebody treats you, you know how they talk to you, you remember.
It's an experience.
Yeah, like everything is that.
Yeah, everything is that.
Okay, after my bogus report, LeBron did hit 36 now.
We're gonna
20,000 points.
That's crazy.
20,000.
30,000.
No, he more than 30,000. 38,000 points.
Yeah,
38.
But look, did y'all see the stat on regular season and postseason? What I posted it earlier. I'm gonna show you.
When Kareem stopped playing, man?
Kareem
38,389.
When did Kareem stop playing? Like, that's right. Respect on my man name, man.
Okay, so LeBron.
He sustained. He
they
kept
tied. He about to go past
it. This is LeBron regular season. So I'm not getting to the GOAT situation.
He's the GOAT.
Regular season, he is second in points, fourth in assists.
No, first in points down.
No, hold up. Okay, this before. Yeah. So first in points.
That's right.
Fourth in assists.
That's right.
Third in minutes. Ninth in threes and ninth in steals. This regular season. Now let's go to playoffs.
Every category.
First in points in playoffs. Second in assists. First in minutes. Third in threes, which is insane. Thinking about Steph and everybody else, like Steph, Clay, Reggie Miller, like all these people. First in steals and first in wins.
Slim did it all.
Postseason. So come on, man.
If you don't call him the greatest, you hate him.
Yeah, I mean he is what it is. I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm not like die hard. Like I just understand the talent that when we
look at him crying, man. When he gone though. Y'all gotta understand, man. We don't have you don't have nobody. Yes, he is. You don't have nobody.
Crying, man. That's a million miles. That's a million miles running, champ.
Is the game over? Or
no, it's the third quarter.
Third quarter.
It's 10 seconds of the third.
Y'all can't even.
It's 104.99.
This feels like.
He definitely is emotional. Come on now.
You have to be.
He emotional.
Man, come on, man. He broke a record that wasn't supposed to be broken.
Never.
Why wasn't it supposed to be broken?
No, and he's got another 5 years.
Why wasn't it supposed to be broken?
He got another 2 seasons to be able to play the amount of games Kareem played.
That's amazing, man.
He got another 140-something games that Kareem played more than him.
I think Kareem's relieved, like, finally someone.
No, Kareem was hating on him like crazy at first.
Kareem's been hating on him.
What's your perspective as being in the league in X, Y, and Z? Like, how hard it is to score a bucket and the perception of it from you scoring your points to this man.
Stevie.
Broke a 30.
Okay, this was nice, folks.
It's just
follow us on IG.
Enough, man. You know.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. Smoke and Tingz podcast on YouTube. Subscribe and share.
Like we can. Like,
wait, one last thing before we go. Quick hitters. Hold up. One last thing before we go. All right, I want to go around. I'm gonna start with Eddie. I'm gonna start with Eddie since we're DC Nitelife and all that stuff. We've been talking about that a lot. favorite era in DC nightlife. You don't have to say why. Just say when, what club, and that's it. And we go around like that.
It's a tie between Josephine's and Barcode.
Josephine's what era? What year?
2010.
Okay.
11, 12, 10, 11, 12.
Which day of Josephine's though?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wasn't no other day, but Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays, of course. Wednesdays was the hardest. But if I could do,
DJ Hostility.
Let me do top
Shout
5.
out.
Let me do top 5, right? And
AKA Carlos.
I'm gonna give you Love. I'm gonna give you Josephine's. I'm gonna give you Capital. I'm gonna give you.
That's all the same era.
Barcode Griffin.
2010.
You really like Griffin.
Hey, y'all, you ready for me?
Nice on Sunday,
Are you
man.
ready for
Griffin
me?
was a vibe on Sunday, man.
Listen, I can't disagree with none of that.
Griffin
It was.
a
Number
vibe.
one, mine from 2008 to about 2000.
Y'all way later than me.
No, from 2007 to
I don't think I'm that
2012.
far back.
Man, give me Layla Lounge, man.
But not-
Y'all can talk all you want. To me, Layla Lounge was jumping.
See, I ain't go back that far.
No, you said
That's when you had the SL. That's why.
I was
That's
standing
why
out
I
there.
see
What was
SL,
later?
whatever.
07, 08, 09.
That was that time.
When Obama got elected, I was standing in Layla.
2008.
I can take it back to Love.
But hear me out, but-
Whatever your soul says is the best.
That's fine.
Layla Lounge to me. And I'm talking about, listen, I didn't.
I know it's
Give me
top
top
three.
Layla Lounge with love.
I'd say Layla Lounge.
Saturday night.
That 07, 08, 09, 210.
You gotta say the day though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah. You gotta say the date.
Let me say this. Layla Lounge and Love, and it was crazy, it's the same night. I used to actually party at Layla to a certain point, then I would go right to the street to Love, right? Set up
Layla was on Saturday.
We did Love Saturday too.
I did Love
shit,
Saturday.
We did Love Friday.
I would sit up on the bar.
Did Love Friday.
did
Look,
Love
hear me out.
I never went to Love on a
I'm
Saturday
not gonna lie to
in
you.
my
To
life.
me, Layla and Love, they were the hot
Twice.
joints, man. I mean,
only been twice?
don't get it. Barcode now and Barcode for the last 8 years and cities. You had people that had their runs, but Layla
together.
and Love were the joints that I woke up to knowing I would have a good time.
KD was KD.
Fair enough.
And I would actually. What's weird is I would actually buy tables at these spots, and even if I didn't go, I paid for the table. So to me, that had to be worth it.
Oh, so you was taking
For sure.
your service.
All right. You're next, Carrington.
I mean, for me, I would say for I had the most fun at Josephine Saturdays. I didn't know anything about Josephine Wednesdays.
Man.
But that was
This
when
is crazy.
that's when we basically Josephine Saturdays was
2.0.
what Rose Bar Saturdays or SNL
Yeah,
Saturdays
okay.
became.
Absolutely.
But the one party that transcended everything and changed everything in the game for I think DC Nitelife specifically was Rose Bar Day Party. The day party scene was taking over.
That was
I
the
think
first
we were
time.
the
Y'all
one
was the first ones to bring it.
First ones around the
They
country.
were the first ones to bring
Rose
that
Bar.
day party.
Rose Bar Day Party.
I thought Cities, Rose Bar, and
Cities had a day party.
Well,
Started
Club
at the same
Vibe.
time.
Club
Barcode.
Vibe. Cities and Barcode gave you
Oh,
a
you
different
changed the
feel.
kind of,
But
okay.
Club Vibe, they were the first day
You know which
party.
one was doing one too? What was the other spot down the street? Ozio's.
Ozio.
Right.
Yeah,
But
but
But it still is on the same level
So
as
Rose Bar was first.
they wasn't the same level,
we were first.
man.
We were one of the first around.
Come
the
on,
country.
man. You know, that's when, man, country and
no,
Tom,
we was in
you know,
all of
rest
them.
in
So-
peace.
We was in all of them. Go ahead.
Let me break it down because
Go ahead, give it to me.
remember when
Table
Toxic
Boys,
Day Party
you know.
was
Yeah,
rocking in
yeah,
LA?
yeah.
It was so popping that Toxic started doing their day party in LA. And then we brought Toxic to DC because they were like, oh, y'all one of the original
Absolutely.
X1Z. We were the first person to really have hookah
Right.
in
Right.
the day party scene. So for me, Rose Bar Day Party, when it was fun and like you could come through, I think that
It was
wasn't
fun
a
back
lot
then.
of people. It was super fun.
Shout out
You
to
don't
my
get
man
to
Van.
Right.
and,
No question.
and so this was the transition from
Queen,
current
all of them, yeah.
from current to Rose Bar.
Rose Bar, yeah.
And Rose Bar 1.0, 2.0, I think they're at 3.5 right now with renovations and whatnot. But I think that was one of the vibes. Park Sundays, most recently, was probably one of the better Sunday day party brunch vibes I've been a part of or have seen because everyone in the city came out. No matter where you were at, you came through that on, because I think it had every party. It had the Wayne and Tony's, it had East Society, it had A1. You know what I'm saying? It had the younger promoters, it had Geo, shout out to GM Tour and everybody like that. It had Isaac Santana, it had Primo, Primo been on there for 10. It had every single body. Shout out to Mark too. Had every single body. BJ was there too.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he spent
Yeah. So it's like the thing is, they had everybody on there at some point in time. But I think at that one point in time, it was from 12 to 9 lit.
Crazy.
I'm talking about we already had Griffin Rocket.
Right.
This was after Griffin Rock. So now
know
you had to go to Griffin later. You had to go to Griffin later, and then you went from Griffin to Barcode later.
See, I remember when they all.
Well, hold on. We got a situation going on. Next up.
You had Lima.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
Next up.
Go ahead.
We know.
Go ahead.
Okay, my favorite
She
era.
ain't 12 years old. She don't remember when she. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Your girlfriend 12 years old.
Okay. So, my favorite era will and forever be Sundays. But 2014, shout out my bestie, used to throw Eden Rooftop Sundays. I used to make sure I used to leave Capital by like 1:50. Climb all them damn steps.
That's reggae on the rooftop.
Reggae on the roof to get inside by 2 o'clock, because you got to be inside by 2, because we breaking all the liquor rules. And we not leaving that motherfucker till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Before the after hours even had the after hours. We was at
food truck outside.
Literally.
Mama and daddy were outside.
And what was the spot next door, Ebou? Used to have day parties.
That was Cafe Asia.
Cafe Asia.
But yes.
I did a party.
Cafe Asia had a good night or two.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Big shout out.
I'm big.
Because I know Ebou not going to say this one, but Opera had it Friday.
Opera didn't have a strong Opera did.
Opera had a strong
MIA line. You're right.
That's Friday.
Y'all keep sleeping on Lima.
No, Lima was jumping outside.
Hey,
listen.
that was one of the first parties I went to. It was actually Mitch Mathis and DT Nation.
Yes, sir.
Lima.
That
was the first time I was
used
like,
to be going crazy. Like it
the little
was
patio
like,
joint.
Downstairs. Not the patio, downstairs. When you walk in.
Inside the
And
basement.
it was so small, but it seemed so
It was
big.
amazing. It was amazing.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Man, I just want to shout out to every promoter that was
question,
during the
man.
time that I
It's
grew
hard work,
up.
fellas.
God, if you made it happen, you stuck it through. Nah. Like this was. We had 9 parties in a week specifically, and I saw all y'all more than I saw my own family. So I'm gonna keep it a buck. So a lot of the stuff that was happening, like I rock with y'all's brothers, rock with y'all's as sisters, whether we had beefs or whatnot. No, I mean you beef with family.
Yes, sir.
No, you beef.
We had beef. Whatever
If we beefing, we still beefing, bitch.
Anybody always
It ain't even about that.
Knock all that shit over.
It's the thing is time passes and time heals all wounds. So like just it's good to see y'all still doing whatever y'all doing.
Respect.
Because like y'all are turning it and y'all are continuing to carry the torch for DC Nitelife, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what people say. You guys are still making money. You guys are still building businesses.
Grandiose still jumping.
Grandiose Mexico. Come see me in the
I ain't gonna lie, I've never been. I just keep seeing fun. I swear to God, I've never been. I've known Ebou. I've done everything else besides Grandiose. I always have my own party.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've heard Grandiose. I was gonna go this year.
We're taking it overseas this year.
I saw that, your little Mexico trip.
Not little. Stop calling
I'm always.
He said, "Look,
Look. I'm gonna tell you this. In nightlife,
give you the slight Joe. He said, the little Joe."
in nightlife, you hated on each other. Iron sharpens iron. No. Keep it a buck. You hated on you. You be like, yo, your party's alright. But then you knew to like go harder at your own joint.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, now I see competition. That Grandiose.
You knew the respect. You knew the respect. You know the respect was there when those guys were coming to your party anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, what are you about?
Business.
No, quality
over quantity.
That's right.
That's what
I'm about.
I remember when they first started.
No, absolutely. That's why you said.
Yeah, I said
you need to be
what
there.
I said. I was going to go this year.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
So why are you not going to Grandiose Mexico?
That'd be a perfect.
Because I got first of all, I got life shit to do. I got bills and shit. I love y'all.
listen.
There'll be more to come.
Hey, Ebou, listen, can I say something right quick?
Yeah.
Listen.
You give me a free
Yeah, I
ticket.
know.
I'm out the
Oh,
way.
wow.
No. People know I'll make you money. Don't play with me.
We'll work it out.
I was like, I will make you money.
10 rooms, I'll get you a free everything.
Look. I sell 20
That's gonna be his first one. Hey, listen, before we close out, listen. My grandson is watching this. He's 9 years old. He won the Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For Watkins.
Yeah.
Watkins Hornets. And I'm proud of you, champ. You know what I'm saying? And he's really a superstar football player. His name is King Bowles. They don't name you King unless you like that. And
What grade is he
like
in?
that. He's a tater tot. Don't put me on the spot. He's 9. I got his age.
Okay,
right.
so he's
That's the rest of him.
elementary, just starting middle school.
Right, he's at Ben Elementary School.
Yeah.
He's watching me right now. He just texted me. He's dead wrong for being woke this late.
No,
wow.
stay up.
I want to show you number 9.
It's not even, but it's not 12 o'clock yet.
It definitely is. 12, 16.
12, 16.
Kids supposed to be in the bed.
But he's so excited. He said, Pop Up. He said, Pop Up, I see you. I see you right now. Guess what I said? Oh, Lord. But, man, hey, congratulations. He got his little award, has his little
Congratulations,
Big
my
award.
guy. Congratulations, King.
Big little award.
But that's what it's really all about.
Everybody keeps saying little
It's the next
big
generation.
award,
This is nice. It's nice catching up, but it's about King. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got a 9 and a 7.
yeah, 9 and 7. Shout out to my daughters, Corinne and Natalie.
Man, I'm going to be standing there with you with the pistol. Let me know when you need it.
On that note, we appreciate everybody. Thank you, Carrington, for being here at the Smoking Tingz podcast. I'll Smoke No Chaser. Obviously, welcome back, James. We missed you. Eddie B, Big Rob, Ebou, George. In a couple of weeks, we're gonna be taking this thing not on the road, but just up the street a little bit. In a different environment.
Somewhere special.
Yeah. We got a lot of guests coming up. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Miami and the girl Miami, not the place Miami.
We go to Miami too. Why not?
You don't even want to go to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
We do need to do one in Miami.
First of all,
speaking of Miami, we will have another Wet District yacht party in Miami on Memorial Day weekend on that Monday.
It's gonna be so ratchet.
Get up.
First
Jane's name is
first
not
time
on there.
here. Listen, you heard it here first. It's coming. You definitely host it. Definitely. So, just stay tuned to all of us. You got all our Instagrams. You know where we at. You tune back in 2 weeks. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace and love. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Every day, new day, move things, do things like my life a movie. Hey, every day, a new day, move things, do things like my life a movie. Hey, every day, new day, move things, do things like my life a movie. Hey, pull up in a big man range, straight to the stage, make a big man play. Trade 5 others, our big man Jay.